We are behind the scenes here at the duckery at Slimbridge, and I'm here to introduce you to our pink-backed pelicans. There are 8 species of pelican in the world, and the pink-backed pelicans are one of the smallest. They're called pink-backed pelicans because they have a set of pink plumage underneath the wings. So when you look at them, you can't see this. All you see is the grey and the brown plumage on the back of the wings. But when they lift their wings, you can see this sort of apricot-y pink colour underneath the wings, and that's where the name comes from. So we have 2 pink-backed pelicans here. We have a male and a female. The male is about 18 months old now, and the female is about 2 years old. They will be featuring in our Living Wetland Theatre next year, and they've started their training shortly after they arrived to us here at the centre last summer, and they've been doing really well. Everything that the pelicans are being trained to do is based on natural behaviour. What we want to do in the Living Wetlands Theatre is talk about why species do the things they do, why they look the way they do, why they have adapted to the environment that they live in. So we're training things like getting them to open their wings on cue, getting them to open their beak on cue, getting them to the water on cue and show us their fishing behaviour. You may have noticed that building work has started around the grounds. This is in preparation for the Living Wetland Theatre and the large aviary that will back onto it. The pelicans will be one of several species that feature in the Living Wetland Theatre, and this will be the first of several HLF projects to be completed over the next few years. And this will soon be ready for you to come and see the birds in action. To keep up to date on the pink-backed pelicans and all the HLF projects, check out the Slimbridge 2020 dedicated website or search for Slimbridge 2020.
So this time of the year, during the springtime, the common frogs and the common toad are starting to breed and lay eggs. And very often I get a lot of questions asking about how they can adapt to the different temperatures. So we recently had some really cold weather where the ponds started to ice over, and that can affect some populations of common frogs and common toads. So during that time, underneath that thick layer of ice, what's starting to happen is the leaf litter and the plant matter starting to decompose, and that can release toxic gases. And unfortunately, that can be fatal to the amphibians that are living below that surface. However, some amphibians can survive this, and usually the best way to help them survive this is to remove the leaf litter at the end of the breeding season in the summer. Common frogs have been known to breed in December, but usually they'll breed in January. Common toads, they're breeding around this time of year, between February and March, and they're leaving people's gardens and the woodlands where they've been living over the summer, autumn and winter to migrate back to the ponds. Unfortunately, when they're making their way back to the breeding sites, very often they'll get run over by cars, and over 20 tonnes of toads get run over annually in the UK. However, there are people that go out between 6 and 8 at night and they'll help the toads cross the roads. They're called toad patrollers, and the reason why they do it between 6 and 8 is obviously because it's during that heavy traffic period, and that's when the toads are on the move, just as it's starting to get dark. So if you see anyone with high-vis jackets with a bucket and a torch wandering the roads, that's what they're doing. They're helping toads cross the roads. And if you'd like to get involved, it was an initiative set up by Frog Life. We're supporting our local Gloucester Toad Patrols. And if you'd like to find out more information, you can check out our website.
We're here at the Discovery Hide, overlooking the South Lake, which can be one of the best places to catch up with the signs of spring. Out on the scrape, we've got lots of avocets noisily pairing up, a couple of pairs of oyster catchers, and our great crested grebes have also returned to the deep lake for the breeding season. We've had several full starts to this spring, with icy blasts from the east bringing us coverings of snow, and we often get asked, how do the birds cope with weather like that? Now, if it's only a few days, the birds will quite often tough it out. Things like lapwing and some of our other waders will quite happily sit out on the ice. But longer periods, as we experienced last month, those birds will move off, perhaps to the river, which stays unfrozen, or even further south, back down to the continent. But despite these cold snaps, we are starting to see the signs of spring push through. The first butterflies and bumblebees have been seen, and some of our summer migrant birds are starting to arrive. We've had our first records of sand martin, chiffchaffs are singing in the hedgerows, and it won't be too long before you can head out on the summer walkway to look for wheatears and whinchats along the dumbles. Down here at the Discovery Hide, you can catch up with all the action of our breeding waders, but also look out for our flock of black-tailed godwits. At this time of year, the numbers are starting to build as the birds are preparing to head back up to Iceland, but before they leave, they're going to be turning a fantastic rusty orange colour. So come down and have a look for these fantastic birds for yourself. April's a really busy month here on the reserve. We've got lots of birds arriving, our last of the winter visitors are starting to leave. But you can keep up to date with everything that's going on our social media and check out the latest sightings on the website and Slimbridge Wild on Twitter. And if you see anything while you're here, do share and let us know what you've seen as the signs of spring start to develop here at Slimbridge.